right, Mr. Brooks, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Recording in progress.
All right, we are on the record. This matter is being recorded. This is the case of Floyd and Brooks. It's case number 2018-1572 FC04. I'm General Magistrate Gina Mendez-Locke, and we are here on the state's motion for contempt. Department of Revenue, state, your appearance, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Assistant State Attorney Omar Mubayed on behalf of the Department of Revenue for the state of Florida.
Okay, Ms. Floyd, please unmute yourself and tell me your name.
Shakia Janine Floyd.
Did I spell that correctly? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brooks, please tell me your name.
Sobers Brooks.
All right, Mr. Brooks and Ms. Floyd, the two of you, please raise your right hands. Mr. Brooks, do you each swear to tell the truth in this matter and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mubayed, do you want to explain your motion to me, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Absolutely. Your Honor, in this case, there involves one minor child. The initials are BJFB. Date of birth is August 16th of 2017, Your Honor. There's a current obligation in place for ongoing support to be paid by Mr. Brooks in the amount of $1,048.46 per month, with an arrears payment of $51.54 per month to pay down the arrears, Your Honor. Mr. Brooks has not paid any support in quite some time, as I do indicate here and is indicated in the motion. The last payment came back in April of 2021. So the state filed a motion for contempt in this matter after intervening in the case in September of last year.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, do you want to respond?
Okay. All right. Mr. Omar, are you aware that the reason why?
Mr. Brooks, I don't want you to ask any questions right now. I'm asking you if you have a statement you would like to make.
Yes, that's a statement that I'm making.
Well, you started asking him a question.
Yes, because he ought to be aware, because if there's a contempt motion, then it must be noted that a contempt is of an order. This order was executed after knowing that omissions were made. This omissions was stated by my former attorney. Hence why neither yourself nor Mr. Omar nor no one else signed that affidavit of truth that I sent to you guys and said, okay, I need an affidavit of truth to state that you guys can prove that there's no omission in this case. And none of you guys did, because you guys know you can't do that unless you're going to perjure yourself. So for Mr. Omar to sit there now and said, oh, well, he has not paid anything. The law states, and I'm talking about Rule 60D3, states that in no way, shape, or form, if there's fraud on the court, is that order not null and void? If it's null and void, or is it that you're going to seek to file a contempt against it?
Okay, so your position is that there's no valid court order and therefore I can't hold you in contempt?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No. What I'm trying to say is that there's fraud in this case from the beginning. My attorney, my former attorney, Renita Henry, herself stated that the calculations weren't accurate. You are aware of it. Mr. Omar is aware of it. Ms. Shakir Floyd is aware of it. I'm aware of it. Everybody is aware of it. But you're trying to tell me now that omissions, even though stated by law that omissions is fraud, your court is saying it isn't. So I must be held liable for a calculation that the attorney herself stated was not accurate. She further stated that the calculation deviated from state guidelines, which is Florida Statute 60D 6-1, Florida Statute 6-1, right? You also allowed the plaintiff, not Mr. Omar, but the plaintiff, to submit that same document while knowing that the omissions were there in 2023, May of 2023, May 4, 2023. You allowed them to submit that document, which further violated 839, Florida Statute 839, that 1-3.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah.
So I was reviewing the docket in advance of today's hearing, and This is similar rhetoric from Mr. Brooks that's already been discussed in prior orders, where his motion to vacate judgment has been denied. His motion to, I believe his motion for appeal was denied also. I did also indicate, although it didn't open on my end, I was having issues with Odyssey this morning, that there is some indication from the third DCA that there's another issue where I think they denied a writ as well. So again, Your Honor, the state would just ask to proceed on the underlying motion for contempt that we're scheduled here for today. There seem to be a lot of filings from the respondent in this case, even directed to me personally. I was just involved in this case with the state back in September, so I don't know necessarily the history or the ongoing matters in this case. All I know, Your Honor, is that we're here today for a motion for contempt. I'd like to get through that, and then the rest of us can proceed with our case.
Okay, so I reviewed the docket prior to the hearing this morning, and I please don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you not one time.
Okay, go ahead.
I did review the docket prior to today's hearing, and I have seen numerous filings by Mr. Brooks, and I have seen numerous court orders entered. None of the court orders entered by the 11th Circuit or by the 3rd DCA modify or vacate or in any way remove Mr. Brooks's child support obligations. I find that there is a current valid court order in place, and we will proceed accordingly. So, Mr. Mubayed, who's your first witness?
I don't have any witnesses, Your Honor, but I would like if the court would allow, if I can share my screen to introduce the records in central depository, to set the arrears in this case.
Okay, go ahead.
One moment. Your Honor, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Brooks and Ms. Floyd, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, here's an arrearage affidavit with the style of the case and the seal. And the state would request that this be introduced as State's Exhibit 1.
Okay, so I'm sorry, is there a date on there? I didn't see it.
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honor. It was pulled on January
I see.
2nd.
Okay. All right, so I will take this arrearage affidavit filed on January 2nd, 2025 as State's Exhibit 1.
Thank you. Your Honor, as per the records of the central depository, there is a current balance of $61,332.71 as of December 11th of 2024.
All right, Mr. Brooks, have you made any payments towards this account that are not reflected herein?
I've stated again, and I will actually state again. This is fraud, so why am I going to make a statement? I'm going by what the law says.
All right, so I'm going to let you have the final word, but at this time I would appreciate if you would just answer my questions, and then I will give you your final word. So the question is a yes or no. At this time, have you made any payments towards this obligation that we're seeing on the screen?
I'm not going to say yes or no, because this is fraud.
I'll take that as a no, because I don't see any payments on the.
Okay, may I share my screen since I'm stating fraud and
You will, but not yet. You will.
Okay.
All right, so this is Exhibit 1. So I determined that Mr. Brooks has a child support arrears obligation of $61,332.71 as of December 11th, 2024. All right, Mr. Mubayed, please stop sharing your screen. Next.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, if I may take some testimony from Mr. Brooks as of this time.
Just go ahead.
Okay. Sir, are you currently working?
No, I'm not.
You're not working, sir? So, how long have you been unemployed?
From 2020 October.
Okay. And what happened in October of 2020?
I was placed on disability.
Okay. And who placed you on disability, and for what nature?
My employer?
Your employer placed you on disability, sir?
Correct.
Okay, and why?
Because I was injured.
Okay, so that wasn't a doctor, but it was your employer?
My employer sent me to get a doctor to evaluate me.
Okay, and have you submitted any of the documentation regarding your medical condition, your prognosis, your diagnosis, your inability to work?
This court have not allowed me to do anything.
So you have numerous filings in this case, so I don't think you've been restrained to file anything of such. Is that correct?
I have no access to the court. All those filings, the court have not paid attention. They have not allowed me to even speak anything, just like what is going on now. I am unable to speak. So it's just whatever the court wants to hear.
Okay, sir. So,
Chairman Bayed, next question?
understood, Your Honor. Sir, excuse me, Your Honor, I apologize. So, your last job, what was it?
My last job was with Amtrak.
You worked for Amtrak?
Correct.
And what did you do at Amtrak?
I don't remember.
Okay. How much did you earn at Amtrak?
I do not remember. That's years ago.
Okay. So, sir, who do you live with?
I live with my wife and my child.
Okay. And do you pay rent?
No, I don't.
Do you own your home?
Correct.
Okay. How much is your mortgage?
I can't say that off the top of my head. I do not know it off the top of my head.
Okay, if you had to give us a ballpark estimate, what would it be?
I'd have to go find my document to find that out.
Okay. Do you have any car payments?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack here for 1 second. Is your mortgage in good standing?
Correct.
Okay. So you don't have any past due payments, correct?
No.
And do you own any vehicles?
No.
How do you get around?
Well, I don't have a license. You guys took my license for no reason. So if you,
So
if you
again, so the question was, how do you get around?
I don't go anywhere. Let me stop right there. This court does not have any jurisdiction because of the bias that exists, so it does make sense for you to ask me these questions. If you want to go ahead and put it in contempt, go ahead and do it. But this court does not have any jurisdiction to ask me these questions. This court does not have any jurisdiction. I'm stating that on record. This court has lost its jurisdiction because there's fraud and Amila, hold on, that is phone call, okay? Sit right there.